La 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 la
Hey
la
folks,
la
I'm
la
Camille
la
Who
la
Armstrong, the
la
performing
la
arts
la
Renaissance
la
woman.
la
For
la
over 40 years, I've worked as a performer, educator,
la la
consultant, and coach.
la la
But
la
most
la
importantly, I'm a
la
parent. From classrooms to stages to
la la
bedtime
la
routines, I've spent my
la la
life
la
nurturing
la la
creativity,
la
character,
la
and
la
connection in the next
la
generation.
la
This
la
series is for you, whether you're
la la
expecting,
la
learning as you
la
go, or parenting for the first time, or even third
la
time
la
around. I'm here
la
to share the
la
insights,
la
tools,
la
and real talk I've gathered over 4 decades of hands on experience. Welcome to Camille Who, the Child Whisperer. I'm so glad you're here. Are we so focused on what our children know and completely neglect how they behave? I am Camille Who, the Child Whisperer, and today we're talking about the importance of teaching your child manners before those performance skills. I have experienced many parents really just trying to teach their kids words, their toddlers words, or colors, or numbers, or ABCs. And they're these toddlers. I'm talking about 1 year old, 2 year olds. First of all, what I want to know is, when are they going to need it? Honestly, they're not going to need it to identify anyone with it. They're not going to need it. They're not going to school daily where they need to be reading. In fact, they won't really need this stuff until they're like closer to 3 years old and after. But what happens is parents become so focused on teaching these performance skills, but they neglect manners, like social skills, like the skills that make a responsible child, creating those boundaries. They should come before the manners and life skills should come before performance skills, because performance skills is just that, performance. Like, they are not needed at age 1. They're not needed at age 2. What are they usually used for? Well, there's many different reasons. The main reasons why I have seen parents teach these skills to their child. Let's see, there is you want to show off to your other friends or your family what your child can do. Meanwhile, your child doesn't self-regulate. Your child doesn't respect boundaries. Your child does not know how to self-soothe. They have tantrums and they embarrass you out in public. They don't know how to say please and thank you. They don't sit down at a meal and eat and have proper meal etiquette. But they know their ABCs, but they know how to count. There's also the pressure of the overachieving parent that wants their child to, like, oh gosh, I've worked with parents that are like, here, all right, practice your ABCs, but this child is like misbehaving. Like, honey, you need to teach your child how to not talk back to people. You need to teach your child, like, that's a life skill. How to listen, how to obey, how to respect authority. These are things that are so much more important than, yeah, let's practice those ABCs. Like, your child is 2.5. Calm down. Sorry, I get a little perturbed by this, because I who have found, as a parent myself, who found teaching manners and life skills very important to my children, with my children and in my parenting, that I saw that I was outnumbered. I saw that I was the radical parent, because I'm not pushing a pencil in their hands and making them learn their ABCs at age 1 or age 2, showing off what they can do. Because honestly, if you really want to show off your children, first of all, let's meet them where they're at. Every child has their own unique abilities, and if you observe them long enough, you can actually pick those out. and identify those, and then showcase that if you need to. Okay. But I found myself being the radical parent because I was teaching my kids manners and respect and boundaries and life skills. Yes, at age 4, my child knows how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yes, my child knows how to pour themselves a bowl of cereal. Yes, my child says please and thank you and says excuse me when they see me talking to someone else. They know they have to wait unless it's an emergency and they're hurting, or they've hurt themselves, or they cut themselves or something like that. Then we know, okay, you're crying, you're coming to me, you're hurt, let's handle it right away. But the thing is I've been labeled as this drill sergeant. I've been labeled as, oh whoa, she's so strict. Yeah, okay, because I have structure. But my children are still able to live in a warm household, in a fun household. We had fun. I mean, fun. Okay. Fun. I mean, like, just the conversations we've had, just the music that we've made, just the, I got a new car, so I woke them up at 10 p.m. in the summer to get into the new car, and we're going to take a drive over the mountain. Like that kind of fun stuff. Like we go out and we play. We go out and we create this huge, giant game of tag where it was just 5 of us. Now it's 12 of us because all the other kids are joining in. Like, we had fun. We know how to have fun. We know how to play. We know how to create. But we also know how to behave when we step out the house. We also know how to behave when we're in the house. We also know how to sit down at the table when it's time to have a meal. We sit and we eat. We know to finish our food. We know to not talk with our mouths full. We know these things, and that's where you can take that everywhere. Listen, your child gets to pre-K, kindergarten, they're going to teach them ABCs, they're going to teach those colors, they're going to teach all of that stuff. And in fact, and I probably will do a video later about like ways that you can teach your child colors and numbers and letters in a way that it is not like, let's do your colors today, let's learn your ABCs today, like, come on, practice your ABCs. No. You can do it in a way that you're already using things that they already know, and then you relate it to that, and then you have a fun little craft that you can do along with that to teach them colors, numbers, ABCs. And then by the time, then maybe you're doing it at 3.5 years old, or even 2.5 years old. And by the time you get to 3, by the time you get to 4, they've already had the intro to all of those things. So it's not as hard teaching these things because they're not new to them. I think I will do a video later on about on tips to how you can do this in a way that's really just fun for everyone, and it's not like I'm the teacher, you're the student, or come on now, practice this. Ugh. I went on a rant, didn't I? Woo. Another reason why parents tend to teach these performance skills is because they're comparing other kids. This happens all the time. Parents compare what other kids know to what their child knows. That's the worst thing you could do, is compare anyway. It's the worst thing you could do one of the worst things you can do is compare yourself to someone else, to compare what you have to what someone else has. So it's really just as bad comparing what your child can do and what your child knows to someone else's child. And then there's the external validation that a parent hopes to receive. Yeah, you're a good parent if your child knows ABCs, but what happens? What happens when your child is acting a fool, having a tantrum for you to give them something, for you to give them candies or something that's not healthy for them? What kind of parent is that now? Okay, why is that not important? You are actually a good parent if your child knows how to say, can I please have this? We can't have that right now because that's not the time for it. Oh, okay. And they can accept it, and they can adjust, and they can move on. That is a good parent. We need to refocus our priorities here, parents. We have to understand that children start out of control. They start out self-willed, selfish, and our jobs as parents is to turn them into a responsible adult that can function in the real world, that can be an asset in society and in their community and in the future of our world. Teaching them how to perform is teaching them how to then get their self-worth out of the things that they can do, as opposed to their character. You could teach them 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. You could teach them ABCs and EFGs, and you can teach them all of their colors. But what about their pleases and thank yous, their meal etiquette, their standing in line and waiting their turn? What about their self-adjusting, their adjusting to situations when they can't have what they need, or what they want? What about getting through those difficult or uncomfortable situations? They fall, they learn. What about teaching them how to self-soothe? What about teaching them, what about your child understanding time and a place? There's a time and a place for everything. Right here's where we use our outside voice. Here is where we use our inside voice. But you have the children that are having those tantrums in the middle of the supermarket, in the middle of the library, in those quiet spaces when you need them to use their inside voice, but you haven't taught them that. You've taught them 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, great. You're 1. You're 2. Tell me when you're going to need that. Where are you going to need that? I'm sorry I get a little angry here. Frustrated. Because, then you have these adults that are children in adult bodies that still don't know, and then we look at society and we say, goodness, gosh, I can't believe somebody would do something like this. And oh my goodness, they were so rude. They were so rude. Why? Because somebody's parent messed up. Somebody's parent taught them how to drive a car, but didn't teach them how to behave themselves. Someone's parent taught them these new amazing skills, their ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, but somebody's parent did not teach them how to wait their turn, how to speak respectfully to others, how to have character. And that's what really matters in our community, in our society. Character. So what's happening? What's the result? The result is you have a child that is full of information with no character, and they lack the behavioral foundation. That very foundation shapes relationships, confidence, emotional intelligence, long-term success. And that breaks down our communities. One of the things that breaks down our community and our society. We have to be a part of the solution, not the problem, parents. Here's some tips, because awareness is key, right? And once you become aware, that's when you can reset everything if you become aware. I don't expect everybody to know this, right? I mean, really, what happens, a lot of what we do is sort of a default a lot of what we do as first-time parents, as expecting parents, is what we see happening around us, right? And so we think, oh, that's good, so I'm going to do that with my child, or my mother did this, my father did this, so I'm going to do that with my child. And it's not necessarily, you're just repeating things that, like, are you making your environment better, or by perpetuating what you see? Or are you really just taking a look at, does this make sense? Does this make for a child with a good character? Examining these things, becoming aware of it, and now then becoming the parent that you truly want to be, raising the child to become an adult that you truly want them to become. Step 1, prioritize life skills over performance skills. I am not saying to not teach your children their ABCs and their one, two, threes, but there's got to be a why behind it. And if they're one, they're two, you have to ask yourself, who am I trying to impress here? And let me tell you something, what's really impressive, and I've been around many children and many families, what's really impressive is when a child knows their place, when a child knows their boundaries, when a child can accept when a mom says no or a dad says no, when they have emotional intelligence, when they can say please and thank you, when they can wait until they're spoken to and say, or wait until there's a gap in the conversation and say, excuse me. Those things are impressive. So that's actually a lot more impressive than A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Come on now, people. Come on. Now, before you ask, what does my child know? Ask yourself, does my child know how to behave? How does my child behave? Focus first on manners, routines, respect, emotional regulation. These are the real foundations. Step 2, teach. You can teach these things through daily routines. And I mean simple 2-3 step routines. These daily moments can build a really respectable child with good character and structure and confidence. You can use everyday moments to build character. Say please when you ask. Say thank you when you receive. Excuse me, let others finish speaking. Clean up before moving on. Repetition builds habit. Habit builds character. And step 3, remember, there's a time for everything. Letters and numbers and colors will come quickly when the time is right and they are where they are developmentally. And you'll know that time. You'll know that time because they'll start picking up on these things. Manners and behavior, that's priceless. And that goes a long way in the community, in society, in our future. Because I'm going to tell you, and I've been an educator for many years, it's not impressive if your child knows the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, because really that does not set them apart from anyone else. It really just, okay, great, fantastic. I'm not impressed. I know what's important. Your child just had a tantrum because you told them that they couldn't have candy. Your child just had a meltdown because you had to draw a boundary. And because now you're drawing a boundary and because you feel embarrassed that your friends see that your child does not respect boundaries, now you're grasping. Now you're trying to figure out how to make them happy and how to make them listen. And now you're embarrassed. But they know their ABCs. Come on, people. Get our priorities. Get the priorities straight. I'm Camille Who. Sometimes I'm going to have that real talk that we're not very happy to listen to or to hear. I'm Camille Who, the Child Whisperer, and I am out of here.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Camille Who, the Child Whisperer. A heartfelt thank you to the generous supporters of the Books and Beyond campaign. This series wouldn't be possible without you. If you're a new or expecting parent, I created Better Parent, Better Future just for you. I empower first-time parents to embrace a positive mindset and navigate those early parenting years with confidence and joy. Click the link in the description to learn more or to find out how we can work together. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leading with love.